Alexander Brown, Wollongong against WAWAN Nukes. Sorry. I think we've already acknowledged country, and I just wanted to acknowledge the country we come from, which is the land of Wadi Wadi, Dharawal and Yuin people. And our campaign has tried to forge links with traditional owners with some success, and we see that as really important to fighting war, because the original war brought to those lands was by people like me, white Australians, or they were British then. So let me begin. I guess I was asked 3 minutes, so 3 things. The first, probably most important foundation to me for how we started WAWAN, which is basically fighting the East Coast nuclear submarine base as part of the AUKUS Pact, is democracy. We started out with a commitment to transparent, open organising and rigorous debate within our organisation. You know, maybe not so much in this room, but people are forgetting a lot of basic organising skills in the movement. A lot of organising is not particularly democratic, and that's across a range of different organisations. So we're really committed to having a democratic, open organising structure, and I think that served us really well. It's meant that, and this is my second point, we've built an ecosystem. So ecosystem is a really important concept for us. The first interpretation of that obviously is our environment, and the climate crisis is a lot more important for us to deal with than a non-existent war. So we've always said Port Kembla should be there to build a renewable energy industry, to protect the ecosystem, which is already heavily damaged by colonial capitalism to begin with, but also an ecosystem of groups. So because of our democratic organising structure, we have members participating from all of the different socialist and left groups in the area, and we also have an ecosystem in the sense that there are many other groups in Wollongong doing similar work. For example, in the trade union movement with the South Coast Labor Council, individual unions that are affiliated to that Labor Council, and we're all able to work in a way that we may not always agree on everything, but the ecosystem model means we kind of have our way of organising, and where that can interact, we always try and make those links. Similarly, for example, obviously the last few years, Palestine has really been a more headline issue for good reason than AUKUS. And so, some of the biggest demonstrations the last couple of years in Wollongong and the most important actions have really been around the issue of free Palestine. But all the way along, we've got a relationship with Wollongong Friends of Palestine and other groups working in that space. There's a lot of overlap between the membership, and we see that as a strength. So we're able to bring an AUKUS perspective and articulate how the struggle in Palestine relates to what's happening here, and vice versa. And finally, I wanted to talk about what I think is the most important principle of organising, which is love. Wollongong against WAWAN Nukes is built on the Wollongong tradition of communism and peace. And the basis of that movement is about solidarity, it's about relationships. In Wollongong in the 1930s, there was an incredible dispute where the waterside workers refused to load pig iron to Japan in solidarity with Chinese workers. But they didn't just do that, because they thought it was a good idea. They did it because they'd gone through the 30s, they'd gone through the hard times of unemployment, and they knew that, survival and support for one another was the basis of organising. That gave them the power to stand up to BHP and lead a national campaign, which had a lot of success in stopping the pig iron trade. So for us, relationships are the core of everything we do, our relationships inside our group, our relationships beyond our group, in our community, and that's why we're here today. And that's why we try and build relationships. We recently had visitors from Okinawa and Japan, because that's the strength that we have that the warmongers don't have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander.